Good morning. So, 10 a.m. Sunday morning, and question number 2, how long are you staying? That is actually a very important question, and typically one of the first 2 or 3 that I ask any client that's coming in to talk to me about their current home, mostly remodels, but also even with a custom home or a brand new build. So, general rule of thumb is that if you are staying in a house, living in a house for another 5 to 8 years or less, then you want to be very aware of resale value and current trends. And what that means is that you can put some of your own flair to it with some thought process as to not being overly personal. Staying with current trends, but not too trendy. Not too out of the box for the style of the house, and not overly bold in colors. And a good designer will help walk you through all of those questions. And the other thing that you want to be aware of is cost. Don't overprice what you can resell in the next 5 to 8 years so that you can get the most bang for your buck. Get to enjoy your new space and still be able to either break even or make a profit when you sell. So those are things to think of if you're going to stay in the home for 5 to 8 years or less. 10 years starts to get a little borderline. Most trendy styles will stay in for about a decade in interior design. 10 to 15 years starts to be a transitional period of how long a style will stay. And then anything after 15 years, I am all for doing whatever you want. It's your space. You'll be living in it. If you are planning on staying a minimum of 15 years, make it personal. Get the doodads that you really, really want in a space. Put a little extra money into getting the style or the function that works for you and how you use your space. So at that point, in general, 15 to 20 years, if you sell in that time frame, most people consider when they're buying a house that's been remodeled more than 15 or 20 years prior, that they'll be doing their own remodel at some point, if not immediately, as soon as they move into the house. So at that point, I say, you know what, 15 years, 20 years, or longer, do whatever you want. The other question that gets affected about that is how long are you staying, is your current age, or whether or not this is your forever home. Are you staying for a long period of time? Are you planning on staying for the remainder of your lifetime? Are you planning on entertaining your grandchildren and your family and your friends for another 30 or 40 or 50 years? Now, granted, even for somebody that stays in a home 40 years or longer, 30 years or longer, they typically will do at least one more remodel, but not always. So you want to think about things like accessibility. How wide are the doors? Is it functional to make it a single level living space for future use in 20 or 30 years, or however long it is, till you get to the point where you have to start thinking about mobility and possible accidents as you age in place. That's the politically correct way of saying that. Aging in place, universal design, those are all things that you want to start thinking about at 15 to 20 years or longer that you're going to be in your home. Again, all of these things are wonderful conversations to have with your interior designer, and an educated and experienced designer should be able to help you walk you through those questions and get your most usability and functionality and still make the space beautiful. Universal design does not mean that it has to look like a hospital or a medical facility. So lots of ways to do that, and a good interior designer will help you walk you through that process and some of the really important questions to ask so that you can get the most out of your remodel or custom build. So if you have more questions, ask a designer. We're here to help. Thanks.